Well, I watched the most controversial movie of the year. A movie that's been banned in Germany, and I'm pretty sure other places across Europe. A movie that has gained a lot of popularity online now as a result of that very fact. I watched the film. I have some thoughts. I noticed a couple things, especially things that go down towards the end of this film that get very weird. Let's just say that. This movie has a lot of controversy surrounding it for multiple reasons. One, this is Armie Hammer's return to Hollywood since he was blacklisted because of the various allegations against him of SA. Him talking about being a cannibal in text messages and all these girls coming out against him. There was a documentary about the corruption within his family too. He was selling timeshares on some freaking island, I think Hawaii or I don't know, something like that. But now he's back. Could this be a return for Armie Hammer to a Hollywood career? Elon Musk, of all people, tweeted this film out on Twitter for about 48 hours so people could watch it after the announcement that it was banned from Germany because they refused to give it like an age restriction or age rating, I guess. It got a bunch of views, millions and millions of views. Now, that's another thing. When Elon Musk is endorsing your film, there's going to be controversy around that because there's usually some kind of agenda there, you know? I would feel sus about this guy promoting something as actually. He doesn't go out of his way to promote the numerous banned ones that exist in cinema, so I find that very weird. And then the director himself, known categorically as one of the worst directors of all time. There was a petition online for people to say, stop letting this guy make movies, for God's sakes. If you've seen some of his movies, Blood Rain, The Third Reich, In the Name of the King. Yeah, you know, he's got some stinkers. For sure. To the point where he was like, I'm going to do a boxing match with all my critics. He actually held a boxing match between him and actual critics. That's how much he fucking despised the critics who hated his movie. And then the biggest controversy is what many are calling very racist anti-immigration sentiment that this film gives off. So you can imagine there's going to be a lot of upheaval here. There's left-wing, right-wing. I was questioning whether or not I should make a video on this film as a result of this because I'm just tired of this fucking shit now, but that's what's happening. Like, let me look at this objectively. Let me just remove the politics, the ether, the stench of politics from this, okay? Unfortunately, this movie does get political, but let's see. Let's see if I can judge it objectively. And there's a lot riding against it, you know? Armie Hammer's kind of a weirdo. I do think the director is just bad. The Elon Musk endorsement doesn't help. But I was like, I think I can do this. I love movies more than I maybe hate these other things individually by themselves. What is the point of this film? I have to ask myself. I don't think the movie even knows this point until it literally tells it to you after doing something that's so, in the eyes of many, so just tangentially weird, appalling, and contradictory towards the end. I don't even know what it's trying to say. This movie's trying to make a broader point, and it absolutely, utterly fails at doing it with the specific thing that this character does. I am the cinema vigilante, real-life vigilante, who's about to talk about citizen vigilante. Is this a good vigilante film? Is it a good movie in general? Let's put it this way. There's a lot of iconic vigilante films. Death Wish, Equalizer, V for Vendetta, right? V for Vendetta seems to be the closest approximation because this movie's trying to do something similar where there's a vigilante who's trying to create broadcasts to the broader society in which he's telling them, hey, your government's lying to you. This is what's happening. This is the kind of justice you have to take, right? It's similar, but like message, the character, the actions and story around V for Vendetta are a lot more coherent. They make more sense. There's something you can get behind. This is basically what happens if a 4chan edgelord decided to make his own V for Vendetta with a low budget and only 2 good actors. That's a fact. That's a fact, independent of where you sit politically, independent of politics. I don't care if you're left, right, doesn't matter. That's what this film literally is. You might like what Citizen Vigilante represents. And to be honest, at the end of this movie, I don't know how you could, especially with some of the shit that he does, especially one action that he does where you're like, okay, that's a problem. But you might like what this movie overall represents in terms of the issues it's addressing. I might like what Iron Lung, for example, represents in terms of a YouTuber breaking into Hollywood and making more than some Hollywood films. But I'm not going to act like I like the film. I'm not going to act like it's that good, because I don't think it is. A lot of people are acting like Citizen Vigilante is better than it is simply because they like or align with the politics or with the issues that are happening. It's not. It's not good at all. There are people that I know who are extremely right-wing, or at least sit on the precipice of where these issues are happening, and even they are saying, Zaffy, this movie's shit. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. This movie's shit. Once again, this director has failed miserably. This movie is about a rich landlord who evicts people, who's going out and seeking justice. Some of his justice towards the end of the movie is against, I guess, undocumented immigrants. The movie takes place in Europe. I don't think they clarify where. I think it was made in Croatia, so I'm going to assume it's somewhere around there. What this film is essentially a critique on left-wing government's handling of crime, sexual violence, especially as it pertains to immigrant crime and undocumented immigrant crime, okay? So a lot of touchy subjects here. This film runs with that, but then towards the end takes it a bit too far. Way too far. Let me go through the film. I'm a fair man. No one can say I'm unfair. Let me go through the pros, and then I'll go through the cons, which there are many. Armie Hammer. This is my problem with the pros of this film. This is the only pro, and the pro itself is not that much of a... This is a character he can play in his sleep. Armie Hammer is a veteran. He's basically playing a very serious role, but an unhinged role, and he's fine at playing that. He's good. He's not bad. Unfortunately, he might be the only good actor in this besides one other character. There's one scene with him at a bar where these two guys who are about to roofie the drink of a couple girls, and he saves them. I was like, okay, that's a fine scene. Again, there are scenes like this that exist in cinema that are 10 times better, but I'll be fair. There's a scene where there's these kids, one of them has a knife, and they all have this smug smile because none of them can really act any facial expression besides that. And Armie Hammer kind of whoops up on them, and I guess because they're bullying a kid, and the movie goes out of its way to show you they're just bullying people for no reason on the street. I guess it's satisfying when Armie Hammer stops them. Besides that, the movie's not good. This movie sucks, guys. I'm sorry if you really, really like this movie or want to like it or agree with the things it says. I'm just telling you the truth. This movie, as a film, is not good. There's an opening scene, okay, where this black guy with a freaking machete cuts this woman's throat, okay, in front of her child. She starts bleeding out. The child in question, who watches his mother's bleeding out, I don't know which actor they use for this. The kid is trying his hardest not to laugh, and you can tell. This dude's about to laugh his ass off because he can't act. Right there, and the way they cut them, it's like you know that they're trying to cut around his bad acting, but they couldn't. Right there, I'm like, yeah, I already know what this movie's going to be. Obviously, this movie is extremely low budget. Any film that takes an actor that's as blacklisted as Armie Hammer, I already know that the budget's not going to be as high as it would be for a normal studio, right? That's to be expected. But the acting, even these guys, you see these guys? The acting is shit from all of them. Everyone but this guy can act. Acting, action, effects, story, pacing are all either mediocre or very, very underwhelming, especially for someone like me who's into vigilante films, right? There are scenes with this guy talking to the camera, doing live broadcasts for the world, for society, for the European society. There's an irony to this dude being from America, being here as a landlord. He even hints at the fact that he's not really allowed to be here, but he is, and he's going after undocumented immigrants. But regardless, he's talking to the camera and telling the people here, yo, the elites are lying to you. Like Clinton, Obama, Biden, and Trump, these guys would never go on the front lines. They're not soldiers. They would rather send your kids to war. You know, the elites have been lying to you forever. I'm like, okay, I can get on board with some of that. But his action, he doesn't do anything. He's like, I'm going to reveal the truth to y'all. He doesn't reveal any real broader truth. He doesn't do anything in fact, for most of the movie, it's just him not doing shit for a good hour, and you just see news broadcasts of this chick giving out stats about how immigrants are ruining society and doing crime. Like, that's literally what a lot of the film is. Sequences of this guy going up to people, victims, and saying, do you want justice? How much do you want it? And then when they give him the green light, he goes, but then he doesn't do anything, really, until the third act of the film, where shit starts to go down. And most of the stuff he does in this movie is at the end of the film. The film feels very clunky and drawn out before that. There's one character, Interpol detective hunting him, that could have helped, but they do not flesh him out. They don't flesh any of the characters out in this, especially not the main character. What is there to this character? I have to ask. What do we know about him?
The most important thing that's revealed about him through this blatant exposition dump in the middle of the film is that he had a broken relationship with his parents. His mother died when he was really little. His dad was around, but really he didn't have a relationship with his dad. We don't flesh that out enough, and it's never brought up again. It's only brought up once just for the sake of putting exposition on his character.
He has a problem with mold in his apartment. He's banging a hooker in a unit that he owns. Then he sees mold. He's like, why is there mold here? Why is there mold here? I own this unit. There should be better. Does things extremely by the book in his own place. He has a conversation where, oh, there are tenants here whose payments are late and we're going to allow them to stay for a couple of months. No, evict them. Very by the book. Keep that in mind until he does something that's so utterly not in the book that you have to question everything he said before this. He's basically an orderly guy who's very, very unhinged. That's all you know about him. And the unhinged part, which is the most important part of this film because he's doing stuff that's illegal, is barely hinted at, it's barely honed in on. Because the film is not concerned with showing you how complex this character is. It's more concerned with like putting the issues in front of you. This guy's killing innocent people. He's hurting them, maiming them, killing them. Not just the criminals and the immigrants that he's after. He's going after innocents, literally. Maybe. I was like, maybe this film is trying to tell us about the problems with vigilantism as a way to combat the inequities of the legal system and the irony in his brand of justice. Maybe the film's trying to do this, and that would be a smart, more nuanced thing, but the film is clearly not doing that. The film is actually telling you, there's actually a scene between these two where this guy's actively questioning his methods, saying, bro, you're hurting innocent people. The director doesn't give a fuck. The director's blatantly telling you that this movie and its message is on the side of the vigilantes and that he's in the right, absolutely. They're not being subtle about that. And that makes it not work. Because the message at the end of the film, and there is a message at the end of the film, it becomes hypocritical as fuck. We need to get into spoilers here, okay? About what happens at the end of this movie, what this guy does. So by the third act, this is what he's accomplished. While telling the world, I will expose the truth. You are all sheep. The elites are lying to you. The way society functions is different. This is what this guy who's talked such a big game has done by the third act of this film. He's broken the hands of some kids who were threatening a kid with a knife and beating on him. Okay. Stopped girls from getting drugged. Okay, respectable. Shot up a bunch of cops. Blew up a SWAT team. A police. Nearly killing the lead Interpol detective who's after him. Because he's killing people, to be clear. So, statistically, he's probably done more harm than good. Okay? And that's fine. Listen, there's plenty of movies that have vigilantes who are clearly doing a lot of bad shit. The movies actually address that and make it part of the plot. And the film becomes more nuanced as a result. Not everything's black and white. This movie doesn't bother with that. We have the most unhinged scene maybe of the entire movie, where this guy's in a car with a corrupt judge who he's about to burn alive because the judge gave very lenient sentencing to a couple of people who were part of a gang R-wording, okay? This guy's in a car. He goes on this ramble while he's with the judge saying, human beings are such sheep, man. They're gonna do things in accordance to the law, like normal people, even if it may not help them or save them. Watch this. Literally goes on the other lane with his car, running straight into a random civilian in a car. The civilian is forced to freaking drive into a ditch or whatever. The car flips and explodes, killing the person inside it probably. Or at least badly injuring him. Why? Because this guy wanted to prove some philosophical point to this judge he's about to kill about how humans are sheep. This is like a child's version of a dude who has aura, bro. Kills a random civilian in broad daylight, in cold blood. What was that? An undocumented immigrant in the car? Is that what the explanation was? No, we don't know who the fucking dude was. Could be anyone. Then he goes to the family of one of the kids who was involved with a gang R-wording on a girl. Okay, it's a Muslim family, which is, they make clear that it's a Muslim family. That it's very, very important that that's a detail because this is important for the discussion they have. It's a Muslim family. They came from a country that was war-torn, whatever. One of these Middle Eastern countries that was war-torn, they came here. The son, who's there, was involved with the gang R-wording. Then you have the father, the mother, and the sister. So he threatens to kill them all. He's going to kill them all regardless, to be clear. The son is the only guilty one here, to be clear. In the scene, it's made clear that the sister was posting some stuff on Instagram, victim blaming, going after the girl that was R-worded, saying she deserved it. Not good, to be clear, that's not good at all. But the son is the only person here who's actually committed a full-on crime. The father, I guess, raised him the way he did, so the father is guilty by proxy in that regard. And the mom is just there. This guy kills every single one of them, shoots all of them point blank, then proceeds to kill the other members who were involved with the gang R-wording. Okay, fine. You were killing R-worders, fine. Kills the entire family, though. Including the mom, who literally had not spoken a word. Kills the entire family. And this is after he just murdered a civilian. on the fucking road, forcing him to drive off and explode. The car blew up. And then he blew up a SWAT team of people too, by the way. So he kills the rest of the R-worders. He literally says, before he kills them, by the way, he literally says to the Muslim family, it wasn't the good... They told them that we escaped from a war-torn country. He doesn't know what he's doing here in this Western country, right? Making some, stupid excuses for his son's actions. Armie Hammer's character says, it wasn't the good ones that escaped your country. Your archaic values and religion don't belong here, right? This rings very hollow, the archaic part of that, when I just witnessed you kill a civilian for no reason other than to prove a random philosophy about human beings are sheep. And you blew up a bunch of you're blowing up cops, first responders left and right prior to this. The movie does not focus on any of those other things. It just focuses on the message that he's saying here. And the movie doesn't bother to talk about the hypocrisy and what he just said. It's telling you, yeah, he's a hero for this. Does not bother to address any of the shit he did beforehand. I just witnessed you blow up a bunch of cops and kill a civilian for no reason. The things that the people you're after, that you would despise for doing something similar, you just did the same thing prior to this event. It completely contradicts everything in it, and the movie doesn't focus on the contradictory nature of this character. If it did, the movie would be better because it's creating a complex criminal anti-hero villain. The movie doesn't bother to. The movie's telling you he's a hero. The movie's far dumber than it wants you to think it is. If the point of the movie was to show the irony in what he's saying and the irony of his character, that'd be one thing. The movie doesn't bother. The movie's telling you exactly what it thinks at the end of this film. We barely touch on the shit that he did. When he kills that civilian on the road, the fucking car of the civilian blew up and probably killed the guy inside. There's no reference to that afterwards. Let me get to the ending where he gives his final broadcast of the movie. We see this motivational music, this corny motivational music rising as the victims of the crimes, perpetrators that he's killed, are watching this broadcast on TV. Don't know how he's able to get this broadcast out in such fashion, but okay. And they're watching, and the victims are like getting hyped, and the movie is telling you, yeah, this is a good thing. He says, I'm showing you what you should be doing. Instead of waiting for a faulty justice system, you got to do things yourself. He's saying this, and the movie is agreeing with him thematically, musically, through the expressions of the victims. This is after he blew up a bunch of cops, killed a random civilian, killed a freaking family. That's after he did all that. And then they send this message. This is a message at the end of the film. This film is dedicated to thousands of R-word and murder victims in Europe who were betrayed by our legal system. The movie's advocating for his brand of vigilantism, all while showing us what he did. And it doesn't bother fleshing out his character or the bad things that he did. It just is skipping over that and showing you this. I don't even know why they had that car scene where he freaking killed that dude. Like, why would you have... I don't understand the point of that scene. It really contradicts the character. I thought maybe they were showing the irony of his character, but they don't. They're literally telling you by the end of this movie he's a hero. That's kind of problematic. Because I just witnessed him kill some fucking innocent people. There's a lot of people that I'm seeing saying, guys, watch this movie, it's very important, it's not left or right. That's like blatantly a lie. It's not the same thing as Sound of Freedom, where, there was a lot of controversy around that too. But ultimately, that's a movie that just is going after like child transporting. I can't say the actual word because it got demonetized. And it doesn't even use the word Republican, liberal, any of that. This is not that. This right here, this statement, is a blatant lie about citizen vigilante, because there's a literal line in the movie that this character, who is propped up as a hero of the movie by the movie at the end, this character literally says a line that completely contradicts that. The movie goes full mask off at this point. There's a phone call between this Interpol agent, who just nearly got killed after his SWAT team got blown up with a bomb by the main character. The guy calls him, the vigilante calls him, and is basically flexing on him. The detective is like, I can't let you do this, you're hurting innocent people. This can't be allowed to happen. And the citizen vigilante is like, he literally says this, he's like, these laws are allowing these archaic people and their values to come to our country, and you and the blind woke left are allowing it to happen. They literally say it. So the problem is, if it is one way or the other, just say it. A lot of these people are blatantly lying about what it is. Just don't pussyfoot around. Say it. Say it like it is. Just be honest about the fact. This movie's telling you what it is. Blame the writers, not me. It goes full mask off about what it's trying to be and what its main goal and message is. Unfortunately, that message is completely thrown off by the fact that the hero that the film itself is propping up has done shit that's so unhinged, it's contradictory as fuck. Basically what this movie is a bad, non-subtle movie that heavily advocates for something that's very problematic. Through a character that, if Batman's found this dude on the street, like, calling himself a vigilante, Batman would be like, what the hell is this idiot doing? This guy's blowing up SWAT teams of police, killing random civilians on the road. That's like some Joker shit that he pulled on that one car. And he's killing an entire family. Killed the R-wording son, okay, that's one thing. I'm not saying I advocate for the killing people, but you go after R-worders, you go after people who are knifing people, okay, fine. You're killing cops, you're killing civilians, and then you're killing a family that that guy was a part of. You're killing the entire bloodline. Bruh. As a vigilante myself, who wants to go after the Epstein class, who wants to figure out how to defeat powerful people, who wants to dish out true justice, I was seeing this shit and I'm like, what the fuck? And this guy's broadcasting as if he's telling some truth about society and the government's lying to you. Like, this guy hasn't done anything this guy does nothing for the majority of the movie until he does, and most of it's bad. So when I see stuff like this happen, when I see I'm very cued in on seeing grifting and agendas, more so than ever. And I feel like that's what's happening here. Because of the way this movie's made, it's made in such a way that I'm like, there's no subtlety to it. It's like you're very obviously trying to say something. You have an agenda. You're trying to appease a certain crowd of people. And you haven't even done a good job of that. Because
the fundamental issue with this movie is, based on how the characters are written, the lack of them being fleshed out, the way the story is, the messaging, this feels more like non-subtle political propaganda than it does an actual movie. And that's one of the things that many people who aren't a fan of modern Hollywood and movies claim to despise. The same thing is happening with this film.
The movie, I gave it a chance. I was trying to be objective. There's just things I'm like, the fuck is that? How are people ignoring this stuff? You just killed a civilian. Those are my thoughts on that, guys. You know what the thing is, though? I could even let that go if the movie was good. It's not. It's a clunky movie with a main character you don't care about or like, with the detective character who's not fleshed out enough. V for Vendetta, the main character's fleshed out. The supporting character, Natalie Portman's fleshed out. The thing that they're fighting against is fleshed out. None of that's done here. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.